We got some of the greatest outcomes where we were looking at new technology implementations, which was really exciting because they are fraught with danger when you roll out new technologies. We were looking at implementing a time and attendance system right across the organisation, that people come with a card and they swipe on and they swipe off at the end of their shift. People were not happy because they were used to high levels of autonomy. They felt that it was treating them like factory workers, whereas they were highly skilled professionals. People were not personally motivated to do this at all. But personal motivation was only part of it. Where we could get people on board, lots of other things got in the way. Is the technology in the right spot? People didn't know which part of the machine to swipe their card on. They didn't know what the machines looked like. So you had to provide some skills for basic swiping. We had to be able to address, what are the people in the environment? What are the key players saying about this system, and how can we get them on board? How can we get people to influence? How can we make sure that those devices are placed where people are walking? So put them at exits, not make them have to go out of their way in order to swipe on and off. Thinking about the rewards and punishments. When we first started rolling out, they did it without the influencer model. And it hit an absolute stonewall. So we had to stop, recalibrate and say, let's look at all of these different sources of influence and what you're not addressing currently. So we completely changed the way the rollout was to happen. And when we went back, we were much more strategic about using key influencers and stories. We certainly moved a lot of the machines. We provided much better training. The result was that every single person in the organisation, including the CEO, were all using the time and attendance system every day. The other one that I think of in this space, when we were rolling out our electronic patient record, so an EPR, and there was one area of the organisation where the medical staff were not using the EPR. They were still using their handwritten notes. And so there was an assumption that they hadn't been trained properly. So we had a call to my department who'd provided all of the training to say they need more training. More training, more training. So we said, well, that's strange. We actually think we've provided them with the training, and checked, and yes, we had provided them with training. Did they need more training? They were very clever people. So it's surprising to me that they'd forgotten what they'd been trained in. So when we went back and actually spoke to these clever doctors, they said, of course we don't need more training. The problem is when we go in to use the system and use our skills, the technology is just spinning. It's actually not letting us into the system. And so what we had was a source 6 problem, and I'm going to be speaking odd language there, but it makes sense to people who have done the training. We had a source 6 problem that we were trying to apply a source 2 solution to. And that was never going to work. Extra training was just going to be annoying at best, certainly no benefit to the people. We needed to fix the source 6 issue with a source 6 solution.